Welcome to another edition of Coffee and Curveballs. I'm Tommy, he's Shooter, and we have to talk about the industry's premier preseason draft event. Shooter, what is it?
The Super 60. Everybody, all eyes are on Chicago. 20 plus years of this stellar event, bringing all the top draft talent in the country to one spot, indoors at the max. I mean, the hitters, it's as loud as can be, indoors, high ceilings. It makes you look like you're hitting the ball like a tank. But it's an incredible experience. We've had 24 first rounders come through, numerous MLB debuts, a full collection of draft picks. All these guys that are coming are well-known dudes that the industry wants to get some eyes on in the preseason. And it really culminates for them. This is that final look. I like to tell the guys, this is the last 60-yard dash you'll ever run.
Man!
Potentially, but that's the way I call it. We got 100 plus MLB scouts in attendance. They're right on top of you. It really is a special environment.
Yeah, the indoors, it makes an awesome noise. It kind of reminds me of A League of Their Own when they're trying to recruit Marla Hooch to come out from the go find her in a gym somewhere. No one's going to get that reference except for maybe me. Okay. Yeah, you mentioned 24 first rounders, numerous MLB debuts. So what's going on this year? We're going to go back. Sorry, we're going to go back 2018. What did we see back in 2018?
2018 was a really special year for us. Jared Kelenic was the big name in attendance, had a chance to go 1-1 overall, ended up going 7th to the Mets. He put on a special performance, just an absolute machine out there, left-handed bat. Big leaguer now. I'm expecting big things. He's going to blow up in the next couple of years. And right side by side with him was a local kid, Alec Thomas, another big leaguer, went in the top 50 picks to the Diamondbacks. Special talent, a dual sport kid who was actually committed to TCU as a football player as well. He's got big things on the way in the big leagues. So it's always fun to see those guys who are big names come show out. They're not scared to come out there and perform. They're not trying to hide from anything. Those two especially. Those were two big names that everybody knew about. But what I love about the event are the guys that we don't know much about, or that the national scene and the scouting directors aren't so clued into at this point. They get those first looks, those second looks. These are guys we're going to want to follow. And guys from that event, Ryan Cusick was a big New England arm from Connecticut, ended up going to Wake Forest 3 years later, first rounder to the Braves. Henry Davis was at that same event. Everybody's talking about Jared Kelenic, Alec Thomas, and then Henry Davis behind the dish, showing off that big arm, swung it well. It wasn't eye-opening by any means just in the workout, but goes to Louisville 3 years later. We knew he was pretty good, 1-1. I mean, he's the first pick out of college there. And then a guy who actually utilized the Super 60 in that year, Drew Rom, a lefty from Kentucky, ended up being a 4th rounder to the Orioles. Had a great show in Super 60, looked like a starter, and he's really done a great job in that Orioles system. I expect him to be in the big leagues, if not this year, the following year.
All right, well, fast forward 5 years to today, and the name everybody knows coming into this, I don't even know if I need to mention his name, it's Max Clark.
Yeah, Max Clark. I mean, Max Clark, he's like a two-name guy. The way I used to talk about Glenn Allen Hill. Remember Glenn Allen Hill? It was like, you always had to say his full name. Max Clark's that dude. He's #1 player in the class, has a chance to be the first pick. Another guy, he's not scared. He's going to come over there, hit the baseball. He knows how to do it. He's going to smack it around and show everybody why he thinks he's the first pick overall in the upcoming draft. Let
me ask you a question about that, because so Glenn Allen Hill, you got to say the full name. When Bryce Harper was coming up, it was Bryce Harper, and then it just became Bryce. When does Max Clark become Max? How does he jump the, kind of like Pele gets one name. How does he get one name?
Maybe he's just got to graduate from high school. Those NIL deals kick in, and he's just Max. Just Max. Would it go back to the Facebook movie? Just drop the. It's
right,
just,
exactly.
But Max Clark's going to show out. I'm excited to see him, what he's put in the offseason. That's a big thing with the Super 60. What have you guys done in the offseason? All these guys put on 15 pounds of muscle. We continue to see that progression of what that high ceiling could ultimately become. So I'm thrilled to see Max coming over to that event.
All right, some guys you're locked in on. Who's your pick to click?
Yeah, and especially in a showcase setting, getting eyes on these guys. I like to pick some that I think that the scouting community might not know much about. Pick to click, Ryder Robinson. He's an infielder from the state of Utah, switch hitter. He was excellent at our future games a couple years ago before committing to TCU. I think he could really open some eyes of some cross-checkers, some national guys. Scouting director, I mean, there's going to be close to 200 MLB scouts there. He's definitely going to have them leaving buzzing.
Yeah, so is this a guy who might jump into that draft talk even though he's committed to TCU?
Oh, without a doubt. I think he can really swing it. You look at Braden Taylor, who's doing a great job right now at TCU, has a chance to be a top 10 pick from the state of Utah. They kind of look similar and have similar profiles. So there you go.
Who's going to be your eye opener from this event?
Caden Sorrell, and you look down at Texas, and he's a Texas A&M recruit, but at 6'4", about 215, he runs a 6'4", 6'5", 60. He can hit the heck out of the baseball, and he'll be 95 or 96 from the outfield. Has 5-tool potential, big power on the left side. I think when you're down in Texas, you kind of get graded at a higher level. If he's from anywhere else in the country, you're talking about this dude, like he is unreal. He has a chance to be really special. He does. Whether it's at Texas A&M or in the draft, I think he's going to be at the Super 60. He's going to really show out and have these guys from all over the country saying, dang, that guy's good.
You're excited to see player.
Excited to see Jack Smith. He's a lefty from Hartselle High School in the state of Alabama. They have a chance to win state this year. Was also a QB1, threw for almost 2,500 yards this year with 21 TDs and leading Hartselle to a 12-1 record. He really blew up last spring. Hartselle's a big-time program, really quality club. He's not the only guy that'll be at this from the school. Up into the mid-90s. He's at 6'3", 215. He's added some strength. I think that velo could really peak at this, or really shoot up at the Super 60 and really generate him into a big spring that opens eyes. They're in the South, and I mean, especially being on that quality high school team, he's going to get plenty of looks.
We talked about this earlier. Generally, football, baseball kids always choose the baseball route. Kyler Murray kind of changed that. There's no way he's getting pulled to the gridiron, right? This is a baseball first guy.
This is a baseball first guy. It's going to Arkansas. If he makes it to campus, they've done a great job with producing those arms. So I think you can see that baseball's his route, especially as a left-hander.
So who's a guy who's going to come in there, not a lot of buzz, and leave with a ton? Who's the post-buzz guy?
Well, I think this guy, because he's a dual sport guy, and you know I love basketball guy, and this guy's an absolute walking bucket there. Blake Walters from the state of Illinois. He's 6'4", 200, throwing on windmill dunks. So the athleticism, he's probably a 6'8" runner or so. But hops on the mound, really projects well with the fastball. I think it's going to be mid to upper 90s when all things are said and done, and he can really spin the baseball. The frame, the athleticism, the metrics, those things all come together, and they really put a twinkle in the scout's eyes. Pitchers
are athletes too. Never forget that there.
Amen.
Shooter, anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
No, I'm excited. It's that first time. It's almost like a convention to see all the pro scouts come together. You get to see the off-season workouts that the guys have put in, where they're at. The players, it's a heck of a time, and can't wait to celebrate the draft talent of 2023.
There is nothing more baseball than the old-timey scouts who don't know how to use a computer yet, so busting out the radar guns, writing down on a notepad. It's good to see those guys every now and then. Shooter, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.